In this particular session, we are going to discuss how do we create a relational database in AWS RDS. The database services are usually created inside virtual private cloud. So the virtual private cloud will be having many subnets. So we can create our own subnets inside VPC. So whenever we create a resource, consider RDS. So that resource will be usually created in any one of the subnet. And the resource can be accessed by using security group. So every resource in AWS can have up to 5 security groups. So these security groups provides all the inbound and outbound rules to communicate with the external network. Consider we have our own system, we call it as a client, and if the client wants to connect to the remote RDS, then their connection can be established through security groups. We will see how do we create RDS instance. Go to a dedicate account, click on AWS console, and in the search give RDS. So click on create database, select standard create. As part of this particular session, we are going to discuss about how do we create MySQL database. So select MySQL engine, and AWS RDS environment provides you many different versions of MySQL. As part of this particular session, I'm going to take the default one or the most recent version 8.0.20. As I'm not going to use this particular database in the production version, so I'm going to select db/test. In the settings section, you can mention the database name. So I'm going to mention my database name as sample database. And whenever we create a sample database, we'll have to provide basic credentials such as username and password. So the default username is admin. I'm going to leave the default username as admin itself. And the password either we can provide by ourselves or we can let the AWS server to generate the password. So in my case, I'm not going to let the AWS RDS to generate my password. Instead, I'm going to give my own password. And the next option is a DB instance size. So the default instance has 4 virtual CPUs and 16 GB RAM. So this is a sample database. I'm going to change the default setting. So for me, the minimum configuration is more than sufficient. So I'm going to select 2 virtual CPUs and 8 GB of RAM. Type of storage. So I'm going to leave it as a default option, general purpose SSD. And enable auto scaling, this particular option, I'm going to disable it. And if you want your database to be available in multiple regions, you can select create a standby instance. Okay, but this particular option is recommended for production usage. As I'm going to create a database under deb/test, and I'm going to select default option, do not create a standby instance. As I already told you, every resource will be kept under VPC. So in my case, the resource which I'm going to create, I'm going to leave it in the default VPC, which is created by AWS RDS. And click on the additional connectivity configuration. In this, I suppose to access this particular database from the internet. So I'm going to select the option public access as yes. If you forget to mention this particular option, that is public access as no, then you'll have to go to a modify database, then you'll have to reset the option. And as I already told you, inside VPC, a security group will be created. So in the security group provides all inbound and outbound rules to access the database services. So I'm not going to create a new VPC security group. I'm going to have the default VPC security group. For MySQL database, the default port number is 3306. The authentication mechanism which I have selected is password authentication. And go to an additional configuration. Here you can specify your initial database name. As part of this tutorial, I'm going to specify MyDB. I'm going to leave this enable automatic backup as unchecked. And the remaining options, I'm going to take it as a default options. And if you want your database to be protected by accident deletion, you can enable this delete protection. And click on create database. And now currently the sample database status is available, but usually the database creation will take a couple of minutes. The moment you create a database, if you come inside this particular tab, and you may not able to see the endpoint and port number may be left as dashes. If that is the case, please wait for a while and until you get some entry in the endpoint. The very important option in this particular tab is a VPC security group. Click on VPC security group and configure all your inbound and outbound rules. So click on inbound rule and check whether the inbound rule configured to allow all traffic from the external host. Consider if it is not properly configured, then you can click on edit inbound rules and you can create a new rule and you can say allow all traffic, and you can also mention source as anywhere and you can save the rule. Similar to an inbound rule, click on the outbound rule and check whether outbound rule also permits all traffic. Once you set the inbound rule and outbound rule properly, from your remote client you can communicate with the AWS RDS database. So go back to the database, copy the endpoint address. Using this address, our external client can communicate with the MySQL database. Now open MySQL workbench from your local system, and in the MySQL connections, click on the plus symbol and give the connection name. I'm going to give my connection name as sample_2, and in the host name, it is not the local host. Remove this and you can mention the host which you received from the AWS RDS console, and the default username is admin and the port number is 3306. I'm going to leave it as default. The password you can click on the storage chain and provide the password which you given while creating the database. And before proceeding, click on the test connection and check whether your MySQL workbench can successfully communicate with the remote AWS RDS. This success message indicates the MySQL workbench can communicate with the remote RDS. Click on OK and OK. And double click the connection which you have created now. The moment you logged in into the remote database, you can write your own MySQL queries in the work area. So I have created the database MyDB while creating the AWS RDS instance itself. So I'm going to use MyDB and execute this command. Then you can create a table. Table with two fields, username and password, and execute this. Now the table has successfully created in the remote RDS. Then insert values inside the table. So I'm going to insert a sample data. Now execute these three insert statements. Now all three statements successfully executed. Now you can write your own SQL queries to check whether these values are properly pushed in the remote RDS. Now the values inserted are properly recorded in the remote database. Now your database is ready. Now you can start developing your own application to communicate with the remote database. At any point of time, you can take snapshot of the database. For instance, I have created a sample database, and if you want to take a snapshot of this sample database, you can go to action and click on take snapshot, and it will ask the snapshot name. I'm going to give some random name and take snapshot. Click on take snapshot. Now snapshot of my database is ready. At any point in time, you can use the snapshot to recover your database. Consider, now I'm going to delete my database. Click on snapshots. and select snapshot which you want to recover. Go to action menu and you can select restore snapshot. The moment you selected restore snapshot, it will ask same configuration information. After providing configuration information, you can create the database. So you have to specify DB instance identifier. I'm going to specify my sample DB, and the connectivity default VPC I'm going to take, and click on additional connectivity configuration and select public access, and the security group default security group, and all remaining settings I'm going to leave it as default option. And click on restore DB instance. So the moment you click on the DB instance, the sample database will be created. Now you can use this particular endpoint to communicate with the instance which is recovered from the snapshot. Go back to the MySQL workbench and click on MySQL connections and give the name and host name, paste the endpoint address, username, admin, and I mention the password, the old password, and test the connection. The connection is successful. Click on OK and OK. Now enter into the wizard, use MyDB, as this is a recovered database, the table will be already there, so you can directly use the commands on the existing table. So this clearly shows the database is recovered from the snapshot.